can see Francine, I can see Enrique, and I can see PC. Okay, so we agreed on Saturday that we shall be having an extra class every Tuesday evening, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, so that we will be able to cover as much as possible and have enough time for revision. I believe you now all have notes. If you don't have the notes, just ask your colleague. Your colleague should be having them. Unless if you tell me, then I can organize for you. Otherwise, if you don't have the notes, your colleague can have them and you can share the notes. There is no problem with that. You can share the notes, you can share the cases, you can share the Companies Act Rwanda. There is no problem about that. Then I am waiting to update the register, the list of students, to update so that I can get the full list, because some of you joined after others. And once I get the full list, then marking the register will be very accurate. So for those who attended the last time, I have marked as much as possible, but you know, there are some who may have attended late and there are some who are now joining. But I believe by the time we have our next class, management will have given me the exact number and the names of students so that we can have an accurate attendance register. I remember you told me that your sponsor would like to see your attendance. And of course, management also wants to see your attendance, so it's very important. So today we move on to strict business. So we are starting our discussions. And we are moving on to chapter 1. I believe you can see the screen. Chapter 1, nature and classification of companies. Now, we briefly went through what is expected in the syllabus, and we identified 14 chapters, and we said that yes, company law is wide, but we will manage the information that we have. We have made sure that it is brief enough to enable you to understand, and also good enough to enable us cover the syllabus. Okay. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sawa. The link, have you seen the link which is on the WhatsApp group? The link, you are able to join with that link? Yes. Because there is one officer here who is telling me that he's unable. So I don't know why he's unable to join, but others are managing. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you've managed, Sawa. Now, we said that businesses, we have all types of businesses. We have sole proprietors, we have partnerships, we have societies, and then we have companies. Our business concerns companies. In this chapter 1, we are supposed to look at explaining the various forms of business organizations, We also need to distinguish, after we have identified the various forms, we want to distinguish the company from these other forms of business. And then we need to understand a very important case, the case of Solomon versus Solomon and the company. Now, these officers telling me they cannot join. Why is it? Why can you not join? Yeah? You are able to join? Have you managed?
Me, I used the link the last time.
Sawa. So, in the definition of a company, we are told under the Companies Act 2021, a company is an association which has been formed and registered under the Companies Act of Rwanda 2021. An association which has been formed and registered under the Companies Act 2021. That is the simple definition of a company. Fine. Now, in the Companies Act, we are told clearly that as long as we form a company, the company shall be regarded to have been formed for commercial purposes. So as long as you form a company, it's there for commercial purposes. Even if that type of a business is not a business aimed at profit making. Maybe it is aimed for purposes of just helping the Batulaje. The law says, Article 4, it shall be regarded to have been formed for commercial purposes. In a few minutes, we are going to look at the various types of companies, which will include the associations used for purposes of just helping the people and not really making profit. When we form a company, we agree that we want to share contribution. So I am going to contribute, you are going to contribute. Everybody will be contributing something, whatever that something is. Then secondly, we have the aim that we shall also share in the profit that we shall make out of that business, if the business will be for profit. So we are going to contribute towards that business. We're going to contribute towards that business. And then number two, we are going to share whatever comes out of that business, we are going to share it. And then number three, we are coming together with a willingness to work together as a group, that our objective is centered towards working together. So we are not enemies. We are not two different teams. We are one team. Willingness to work together. Willingness to form an association. This association is the association we now regard as an artificial or juristic partnership. In the sense that it is not a human being, it is artificial. It is a creature of law. It is the law which has created the company. And because we want to share contribution, we want to share profit, we want to work together, it is now going to be regarded as a corporation. It's going to be regarded as a corporation. Okay. Now, in as much as we have said that the Companies Act, Article 4 says companies are incorporated for commercial purposes, the same Companies Act, we are told we also have companies which are community benefits. Companies which are community benefit. Community benefit example, we have situations where if you go to the villages, you'll find the Batulaje there. Some of them are very poor, they need assistance. Now, these people, they can be assisted by organizations which will come together and they will help to uplift the livelihoods of these people. Okay? For instance, maybe giving them cheaper but quality food stuff, helping them if they are sick, they can have cheap but quality medication, and so on and so forth. A good example is the Red Cross and Red Crescent. Many Europeans have formed so many small organizations which help to uplift the lives of the people, the lives of the baturage. Okay, now, what are the forms of businesses that we can think about? 1 minute. There are people who are saying they are unable to join. Why is it so? Why are they not able to join? Yes. Now, that the various forms of business organizations, one, we have sole proprietorships. What is a sole proprietorship? A sole proprietorship, we are talking about a business which may have one person who is the owner. He contributes all the financing of that business. And most likely, he might use his family members, maybe his wife or his children, to help do things around. A sole proprietorship. Majority of the businesses around our homes are sole proprietorship. That small shop where you go to buy bread in the morning, that musaza who sells birai and bitunguru, etc., you may find they are simply sole proprietorships. Now, these are businesses owned and controlled by a single person. This person controls the finances. This person controls the way that the business shall be carried out. There are advantages of this. An advantage of this will be when this guy makes profit, he enjoys all the profit by himself. In order to form such businesses, he does not require technicalities. Forming the business is very straightforward as long as you pay the local authorities, the license, the permit for tax purposes. As long as you pay that, you are good. Go and buy your goods from the wholesale, come and sell them. So there are no major legal or administrative formalities. Okay? All you need is a trade license. When you get a trade license, the local authorities will allow you to continue doing business. The local authorities will give you security. Then, this person is also his own boss. He is his own boss. He decides when he'll go to work. He decides if he will not go to work. He does his decisions by himself. He does not have to consult any other person. He is his own boss. Okay? But then there are disadvantages. What are some of the disadvantages? In such a situation, if you have the knowledge of doing business, then you are lucky. Okay? But if you don't have the knowledge of doing business, then the little information that you have will be the only information that you'll be relying on when doing that business. So, one, you have to provide all the capital for the business. Two, your knowledge is limited. Your knowledge is limited to what you know only. You will not have to rely on any other person out there. Three, you may have to work for very long hours. So that you make ends meet. If you are sick, too bad. Nobody will go to work. If you are going for another engagement, maybe you are going to class, you are going to Lopita, then it means the business will not run that day. There is no scope of sharing ideas like you will find in partnerships, like you'll find in companies, etc., etc. And then, if you do not have enough capital, then again, it is a problem to you. It's a big problem. You'll have to sell some of your property so that you get capital to boost your business. That is a sole proprietorship. Another form of business is a partnership. Now, when you see the word partnership, it means more than one person. Okay? More than one person. A partner. Now, partnerships, we say it is a business owned by a minimum of 2 people and a maximum of 20. The relationship that exists between these people is what we refer to as the partnership. A partnership is based on agency. Partnership is based on agency, whereby what you do as partners will affect the other partners. So you must look out for each other. An agency relationship is one whereby it is all for one and one for all. Okay? Now, partnerships are of various types. Under the Rwanda law, we have various types of partnerships. We have general partnerships, we have limited partnerships, and then we have partnerships limited by share. Now, these partnerships include professional partnerships. Professional partnerships, an example is when we look at partnerships such as PwC, such as Ernst & Young, these are actually partnerships. But apart from such, we also have the ordinary or general partnerships where we might start a small shop somewhere, yourself and your brother, and you start doing your business as a partnership. When you look at a general partnership, it behaves in the same way a sole trader behaves, a sole proprietor. The only thing is there are more than one person. That is the only advantage. Now, what is the main thing that makes partnerships better than sole proprietorship? One, partners will provide capital on the agreed terms. And you know very well, two are better than one. So if I have 1 million Rwanda franc and you have 1 million Rwanda franc, we are talking of 2 million Rwanda franc and we boost our business. But if you are a sole proprietor and you only have 500,000 Rwanda franc, you find your resources are limited. Another advantage of partnership is because of pooling resources together, we have more capital and the scope of expanding our business is high. Chances of us to expand our business are high, and we can therefore grow. We can therefore grow very fast. Then again, with the partnerships, we share ideas. We share ideas. Maybe I'm an accountant, I'll bring the ideas of accounting. Maybe you are a lawyer, you bring the ideas of the legal fraternity, and so on and so forth. If it was a sole proprietorship, then you find the knowledge is limited. Okay? Disadvantages. Partnerships will have disadvantages. Where we have more than one, chances of disagreements are very high. Chances of disagreements are very high. Now, this may not be a problem if you're talking about a sole proprietorship.
Please,
Another thing, yes, please.
If you come again with types of partnership.
Now, types of partnerships, we have general partnerships, we have limited partnerships, and we have partnerships limited by share. Don't worry so much about the detail, the difference between general, limited, and limited by share. Don't worry about that. The examiner will not ask you the differences between partnerships. Instead, the examiner will ask you the difference between a partnership and a company. My voice, I think it is your machine which has a problem. There is who is this? Dennis, check your machine. My voice is very okay here. My voice is at 29. I can still increase it. Okay, my voice is at 50 now. So don't worry about the differences in partnerships. All you need is the difference between a partnership and a company, the difference between a sole proprietor and a company. Otherwise, the others are not very, very necessary here. Then, it is possible that when we are forming a partnership, we can decide we want to write something down. We want a document which is going to be used as our reference so that we know what are my responsibilities, what was the agreed profit sharing ratio, and so on and so forth. If we are going to have a document that will be used as our agreement, that document is known as a partnership deed. So a partnership deed is the agreement which is written by partners to show their relationship, to show their specific duties, to show the amount of profit they will share, etc., etc. Okay? So now, partners provide capital in the agreed terms. There are higher chances of getting more capital in a partnership than in a sole proprietorship. Again, we have said partners share ideas, so the chances of growth, the chances of using better ways of doing business are much higher. And then again, that if I am unwell, if I fall sick, at least you will be there. If you travel to South Africa or to Britain, at least I'll be there. But if it was a sole proprietorship, when one person falls sick, he closes the business. When a person travels to Egypt, he closes the business. So there is that benefit in a partnership. Then problems exist in partnerships. One, disagreements. Time and again, the partners will disagree, and this can ruin the business. Number two, in the event that there is death of one partner, the partnership comes to an end. If there is death of a partner, the partnership comes to an end. If one partner decides to walk out of the partnership comes to an end. Then, the liability of partners is usually unlimited. In other words, our liability will be 100%. It will be 100%, unless we are talking about this type of a partnership we're calling partnership limited by a share. So don't worry much about the differences of partnerships. Simply understand the difference between a partnership and a company, as we are going to look at it in a few minutes' time. Okay. Then we move on to the next, cooperative societies. Now, especially in Rwanda, when I move around Rwanda, I go to Butare, I go to Nyagatare, I go to Romagana, I see many farmers doing great things. Farmers having their cows, they're getting milk from there. Farmers carrying virai from the farms, going to take to the soko. Most of these people have joined cooperatives. Okay, a cooperative society is simply an association of people who have come together with a common objective. They come together with a common objective. Their objective is self-help. They want to build each other, help each other. A cooperative must have at least 10 persons, and it does not have a maximum. You can have as many as possible, but minimum 10 persons. Membership is open to all those persons who share similar interests, all those persons who want to work together for a common objective. Okay. Now, cooperatives, you'll find the farmers, those who take care of cows. You'll find the Wanyunzi can have their cooperative. You'll find the Moto people have their cooperative. You find the transport industry, the buses, these guys also have their cooperative, and so on and so forth. We have primary cooperative. What is a primary cooperative? This is a society whose membership is restricted to individuals. So I join, you join, Peter joins, Mary joins, Muhoza joins. Individuals come together. Primary cooperatives. Okay. Then we have secondary cooperatives. Secondary cooperatives are simply cooperatives of cooperatives. In other words, you will find in Kigali, for instance, there is a cooperative for the Banyonzi. There is a cooperative for the Banyonzi where at Kachiu. There is another cooperative for the Banyonzi at where? At Nyabugogo. And another one at Kabuga. So there are small cooperatives of Banyonzi. Those are primary cooperatives. And then these primary cooperatives, the one at Kabuga, the one at Nyabugogo, the one at Kachiu, they can come together under one large cooperative. When they come together under one large cooperative, now this one is now the secondary cooperative. So a secondary cooperative is simply a cooperative whose membership comprises of primary cooperatives. Okay. Cooperative societies, their main objective is socio-economic development. We want the Batulaje to help themselves build each other. Don't rely on the government every time. The government will give you the good environment to do the business, but now it is upon you to do what? To develop yourselves socially and economically. Okay. Examples of these cooperatives, they will help each other in collection of whatever they are collecting. If it is collecting food stuff from the farms, if it is collecting milk, transport, marketing agricultural produce, supporting agricultural production, assisting in income distribution, all these small basic things which are usually handled at the village level. Cooperative societies are involved in this. Now, cooperative societies are not companies. They are simply cooperative societies, but they are good in the sense that they enable the people to access cheap loans. If we were to get a loan from Beka or Koje or KCB, my friend, the interests in banks are quite high. But if you get a loan from a cooperative, usually the interest rate in a cooperative society is 1%. But if you go to take a loan from Koje or KCB, you may find the interest rate, it can even be 18, it can be 15, it can be whatever percentage. So you find it is cheaper to access loans through cooperatives than through the mainstream banks. Okay, so we have sole proprietorships, one person owning everything. The ideas he has are the only ideas he will use. The money he has is the only money he will use. If he falls sick, the business is closed. We have partnerships. Partnerships, minimum 2 persons, maximum 20 persons. Partnerships, yes, they share in getting the money, the financing of the business. They have the sharing of knowledge, of ideas, but then whenever there are disagreements, the partnership can end up closing. If any one of the partners dies, the partnership will end up closing. And then we have cooperatives. Cooperatives, we are saying they are simply what? They are simply vehicles for socio-economic development. They help the Batulaje at the bottom level, at the village level especially, to do things which would have been difficult had they been doing them alone. Sawa. Now, that area we are through. Let us now look at a company. When we talk about a company, we are talking about a legal or a corporate person. We are talking about an artificial person. We are talking about an association of persons who have come together and they have followed procedures of incorporation. They have followed procedures under the Companies Act 2021, and they have formed themselves into a company. When a company is incorporated, it becomes a legal person, different from the actual persons who have formed it. So we are 10 people. We are 10 people. We come together. I bring 1 million, you bring 5 million. Mary brings a model car. Peter gives us his house. John gives us the lorry. These 10 people, they come together, they go to RDB, Office of Registrar General, and they follow procedures of incorporation. Once they follow procedures of incorporation and they form the company, Company Alpha Limited. Now, Company Alpha Limited will be very different from these 10 people. These 10 people, each one has his own life, each one has his own problems, each one has his own whatever he has. But the company, even though it has been formed by these people, the company is also very different from them. If one of us dies, no problem. We will come to your funeral, but the company is still there. If one of us decides to walk out of the company, you want to surrender your shares to somebody and go away, no problem. You will go. Our company will still remain there. So the company will continue being there because it is distinct and separate from those people who have formed it. This is found in Article 24 of the Companies Act. Okay. Now, once the company is formed, it acquires certain characteristics. Once a company is formed, it acquires certain features or characteristics. The examiner has a habit. The examiner has a habit of using certain words to confuse the student. The examiner will use characteristics or features. So whenever you see characteristics, they are the same as features. Whenever you see characteristics, they are the same as consequences. Okay? Now, number one, the moment we form the company, it acquires distinct legal personality. The company, Alpha, and the people who formed the company, they are distinct and separate. These people, they have their own houses, their own property, their own life. The company has its own property, its own life. Okay? Number two, limited liability. That if our company has borrowed 100 billion from Becca, and you, Umuhoza, you have taken 100,000 worth of shares. If our company is unable to pay that debt of Becca, you cannot be forced to pay that 100 billion. No. Your liability is limited to your shares. So if you have paid your 100,000 worth of shares, you are safe. Let the company fight with its 100 billion of loan. So the liability of a member shall be limited to the extent of his shares. We will not come for your personal property. We will only come for that which is in the company that belongs to you, that share. So you can be a billionaire. You can be a very rich man. It's like Sina Gerard, very rich Musaza. And then you have 100,000 shares in Company Alpha. If Company Alpha owes Becca 100 billion, Becca will only come for your 100,000 shares in this company. Only 100,000 shares. They will not come for your 100 billion in the bank in any other place. No. That is distinct and separate because the liability is limited. As we discuss, we're going to realize liability is either limited by share or by guarantee. The theory of limited liability. Next, perpetual succession. You guys as accountants, you know very well the going concern concept. Going concern concept means what? That the moment the company is formed, it shall continue existing for the unforeseeable future. The company will be there today, tomorrow, next year. For as long as it takes, the company will be there. People will come and go, people will die, people will fall sick. The company will still be there. The only time the company dies will be under insolvency. And that is something we're going to look at in the last chapters. So we have perpetual succession. This is an advantage which the company has and a sole proprietor does not have. Common seal. Now, a company cannot move around like a human being. A company depends on the managers and the directors to do things. When the managers and the directors sign documents on behalf of the company, they must also include the signature of the company. And the signature of the company is the common seal. The signature of the company is the rubber stamp. So I will sign as the director, finance. Mary will come and sign as the company secretary, and then Mary will put the common seal. The common seal is the stamp of the company to show that yes, Mary has signed, Peter has signed, but then the company has signed. So it is not an individual signing, it is the company signing. The common seal of the company is a stamp of the company. And this document, this stamp is kept and maintained by the company secretary. The company secretary is a person who keeps and maintains this. Capacity to own property. The company can own property. The company can own Chigali Heights. The company can own Ritico. The company can own anything and everything. And the company can also do what? The company can sell. Because it is its property, the company can sell. The company can use its property for its own benefits. The company can sue and be sued. It can take you to court and you can take it to court. We will not look for an individual. We will look for the company itself. The company can enter contracts with Beka, with Koje, with KCB, with the University of Chigali. It can enter contracts in its own name, not in the name of the director, in its own name, Alpha Company Limited. Then the company can also borrow by floating charge. We shall discuss charges much later. When we'll be looking at debt capital, we're going to discuss charges. Now, the idea of a floating charge only happens with the public limited companies, and we'll talk about this much later. That the company can simply go to the lender like Beka or Koje and say, I want 100 billion. And Beka or Koje will look at the assets of the company and say, take this money without holding any of the assets. So it is a benefit that the public companies have. Private companies don't have this. Private companies must give a fixed charge. Private companies must give a fixed charge. We will understand this as we continue. Okay? Sawa. I believe people have now managed to enter class. I don't know what the problem was. People are now entering. I think must have been a technicality there. So that is the position. Now, when the link goes off, don't worry. When the link goes off, I will review the link and we start afresh. So you need not worry. It just takes about 1-2 minutes, and then we link and we start afresh. I think it's almost about to go off any second.
Recording in progress.
So the next business then is we look at what is this, where is this coming from, this idea of companies? The principle of legal personality is a principle which was developed in Solomon versus Solomon and the Company. This celebrated case. The principle was established there. That it is in this particular case, originally, Solomon was a sole proprietor. Solomon had a small shop of making and selling shoes. Then Solomon decided to form a company. Yes. When he formed the company, himself, his wife, and his children became the shareholders of that company. And then at some point in time, the company was broke and the creditors demanded payment. So they took the property, the assets of the company in order to settle the debt. But those assets were not sufficient to clear the debt. Then now they started following Solomon himself, and they said, Solomon is the owner of that company. We have sold everything from that company, but the money is not enough to clear the debt. Now we are going for Solomon himself. We are going to look for any other property Solomon has. When the case was taken to court, the court said, no, you cannot take any other property of Solomon because Solomon and the company are distinct and separate. You can only take the property, the shares of Solomon, which are in the company. You cannot go and take anything else of Solomon that is not connected to the company. And that was it. That was it. Now, somebody is asking me here, what is a floating charge? Don't worry, don't worry. We'll get there. Don't worry. Charges are simply security. The other day on Saturday, when we were introducing ourselves to the class, we said a charge is a security. A charge is a collateral. You want a loan. Company Alpha wants a loan of 100 billion. Company Alpha will go for a debenture. A debenture is a loan, and the loan is secured. The loan is protected by a charge. A charge is either fixed or floating. A charge is either fixed or floating. A fixed charge, the actual assets are taken. Fixed charge, actual assets are taken by the lender. Fixed charge, assets are taken by the lender. Floating charge, the assets are not taken. You will enjoy the loan without giving any collateral. But because you are a going concern, the lender is aware that should you not pay, they will now come and look for the assets. But we'll discuss this when we'll be discussing debt capital. Okay. Now, this rule in Solomon versus Solomon is the mother of company law. So just remember, my friend, examiner can ask you, state the rule in Solomon versus Solomon. Tell the examiner, the rule in Solomon versus Solomon says that when a company is formed, it becomes distinct and separate from the people who form it.
Please, lecturer. Sorry.
Yes, please.
The sound is not good. I don't know.
I think it is from your side.
Sure.
Yeah. My sound is at 50. My sound is 50.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when the rule in Solomon versus Solomon says what? When a company is formed, it becomes distinct and separate from the human beings who form it. The human beings will come and go. The human beings will die. The human beings will be broke. The company has its own life. The human beings have their own life, even though it is these human beings who have formed the company. Okay. Now, the idea of limited liability. What is this idea of limited liability? The idea of limited liability, as I mentioned earlier, it is that liability is limited to the extent of a person's shareholding. Either your shareholding or guarantee, if there is a guarantee. Okay? If it was a partnership, my friend, if it was a partnership and the partnership owes Becca 100 billion, my friend, number one, Becca will go for the partnership property. Once the partnership property is taken, if it will be enough to clear the debt, we are happy. If it is not enough, Becca will now come for each individual partner. We have sold the partnership property. There is still a deficit of 100 billion. They will come to your house, Umuhoza. They will come to your house, Fabrice. They will take your Inkoko. They will take your shoes. That a partnership, there is no limitation of liability unless we are talking about a limited partnership. Now, a company is protected because liability is limited. Now, the extent to which a person may be called upon to contribute to the assets of the company, if the company is closing, if the company is winding up, that is the limited liability. Liability is either limited by share or limited by guarantee. Okay? Liability is either limited by share or limited by guarantee. In other words, we have companies limited by share and we have companies limited by guarantee. If liability is limited by share, what we are saying is Peter has 100,000 shares in company Alpha. In case the company owes Becca 100 billion, Peter's liability towards paying that 100 billion will be his shares in our company. But if he pays the shares in our company, he has helped to clear that debt of 100 billion and nobody will follow him for anything else. Limited by share. And when it is limited by share, this Peter becomes a shareholder. A company limited by share is a company which has shareholders. The shareholder contributes to the extent of his shares. If there is a debt, then he shall lose that extent of his shares only and nothing more. Okay? Then we have liability can be limited by guarantee. If liability is limited by guarantee, what we are saying is when we are joining the company or forming the company, we sign in the memorandum and in the articles and say, I am promising that in case the company is in debt, in case the company will owe any creditor, I am going to surrender 100 billion. I am going to surrender 50 billion. So you give a figure. You give a figure or you specify some property that if this happens, I will give this. Now, that is a guarantee. Okay? With limitation by a share, you simply buy shares, you become a shareholder. Limitation by a share. And it is your shares which will be taken. Limitation by guarantee, you sign and you say, if this and this will happen, I will surrender 100 million. That is guarantee. Companies limited by share, the members are shareholders. Companies limited by guarantee, the members are not shareholders, the members are guarantors. Companies limited by guarantee, the members of those companies are guarantors. Companies limited by share, the members of those companies are shareholders. Companies limited by share, you will get a dividend on your shares. Companies limited by guarantee, it will now depend. Are you entitled to a dividend? If not, then you're not getting anything. But of course, as we have seen, when we form a company with the objective of doing what? Of sharing in the profit of that company. Okay. Then, apart from companies limited by share and companies limited by guarantee, we also have unlimited companies. Unlimited companies. That this company, there is no limitation as to the liability of a member. Unlimited companies are very few. They are very rare. They are very rare. Usually, all unlimited companies are private companies. If you come across an unlimited company, that unlimited company must be a private company. You can never have a public company which is unlimited. Nobody will accept to take a debt that he may not have been involved in. And these unlimited companies are usually family companies, especially for the Indians. They are very good in this. Likewise, companies limited by guarantee, you will find most of them are private companies. But then again, we have companies which have part limitation by share and part limitation by guarantee. So you may find there are several people who have limitation by share and by guarantee. And then there are other people, the rest of the pathology, they have limitation by share. Limitation by share is very safe. Limitation by share is very safe. Limitation by guarantee is quite dangerous because you say, if this happens, I will give. And usually it is the owners who will want to have a limitation by guarantee. Now, under the Companies Act 2021, we are shown two categories of companies. There are two categories of companies. Please remember this. Please remember this. The categories of companies under the Companies Act are two. We have private company and public company. Those are the only categories of companies. Categories. Article 5. Categories of companies are private companies, public companies. Okay? Article 5. Then, types of companies. Types, my friend. Types of companies. There are 5 types of companies. Okay? Categories are 2, public and private. Types of companies, Article 11, there are 5 types of companies. A company limited by share, a company limited by guarantee, a company limited by share and by guarantee, unlimited company, and then protected cell company. Protected cell company. What is a protected cell company? This protected cell company is a new type of company which has been developed in the Companies Act 2021. Before the Companies Act 2021, the Companies Act 2018 did not have a protected cell company. Now, what happens with the companies? You see, we have the going concern concept. Now, we form our company, and our company, the objects that we have established the company for, why we have our company is there to harvest, to process, to package, and to sell a matter. Okay? Harvest, process, package, sell a matter to the pathology. Okay? If our company ends up having a debt and we are unable to pay, our company shall be declared bankrupt. We shall go for winding up, insolvent. We shall go for winding up. And our company will close. But now, there is a new development in law, the protected cell company. Let us go to biology for 1 minute. In biology, you know the human cell. How many cells do you have, my friend? You have millions of cells. And you know what happens with cells? Every day, there are some which die and there are new cells which are developing. Every day. New cells develop, old cells die. New cells develop, old cells die, like that. Now, cells are independent of each other. If 50 cells in my body die, I am not going to die. Most likely, another 1 million cells will be developed as soon as possible. Now, when you have a protected cell company, it happens that Our company may want to do some experiment on some new venture. We are not so sure if we can make it, but we want to try. So our main business, our core business is to harvest, process, package, and sell amata. Okay? But then we can say, there is this new project here. We want to start developing, what do you call it? Mask for Corona. We want to start manufacturing mask. But we do not know how long this business can take, because this Corona, we are going to defeat it in Jesus' name. And we will not need masks anymore. So let us have mask business, but let us have this business as a protected cell. If this business dies, let it die, but our main business of Amata will continue. So a protected cell company is a company which has its core business, and then it has some other small businesses on the side which do not depend on the core business. Shareholders may decide to, apart from being members of the core business, they may also decide to take up some shares in that cell company. If the cell company will owe Becca 100 billion, it is the cell company which will have to pay, or it will have to die its own death. But our core business will still continue. So that is what a protected cell company is, my friends. That the company has some other business or businesses on the side which do not depend on the life of the main business. If something bad happens to the main business, sawa, the whole business dies, including the protected cell. But if something happens to the protected cell only, no problem. Protected cell is closed. Protected cell is the one which is owing Becca. Main business still continues. That is what a protected cell company is. We'll discuss it in detail and understand more. Then, apart from the protected cell company, we also need to understand something. Remember, we have said perpetual succession. We have mentioned perpetual succession as one of the characteristics of companies. Yes? Perpetual succession, this one. That the moment a company is formed, it is expected to be there for the unforeseeable future. Okay? But then, there is a new development again in the Companies Act 2021. A limited life company. A limited life company is that type of a company we write in the memorandum and in the articles that our company is a limited life company, and in the event of this and that happening, our company will come to an end. We can say, our company, we are building the airport. We are building the airport. The moment we complete building the airport at Nyamata, our company ends. We can say, in the event that Director John dies, our company ends. We can say, in the event that a particular thing happens, our company will die. We can say our company will only be there for the next 5 years, for the next 20 years, for the next 15 years, like that. Okay? A limited life company, the maximum period of a limited life company is 150 years. 150 years. Okay? Now, this is very different from the traditional company, which is a going concern. It will be there for the unforeseeable future. For us, we are saying, no, we don't want that type of a company. We want a company which will only last for 50 years. We want a company which will last for 60 years. And that is it. And it ends. Or we want a company which, if a certain thing happens, we will have to mention that thing which would happen. If a certain thing happens, we end the life of the company. That's what a limited life company is. 1 minute, let me just show you what the law itself provides. And all these are new creations. They are new creations under the New Companies Act. Limited life company. Okay, just 1 minute. Takes some time to get there. Okay, you can see here now an application in. Oh, I'm not sure if you are seeing this, the document one. Yeah. An application in respect of a company to which a certificate of incorporation or a certificate of registration by way of continuing has been issued must be accompanied by a certified copy of the relevant extract of its memorandum and articles of association, limiting the life or duration of the company to a period not exceeding 50 years. Limiting the life of the company to a period not exceeding 50 years from the date of incorporation, or where necessary, of a resolution of the company altering its memorandum articles for that purpose. So basically, we write in our memorandum or our articles that our company will be there for a specified period of time. And the memorandum and articles of association of the company limits the life of the company to a period not exceeding 50 years from the date of incorporation. And then, just 1 minute, 50 years from the date of incorporation, and then it continues. A limited life company may, by resolution, alter its memorandum and articles of association, extending the duration of the company to such period or periods not exceeding in aggregate 150 years. So we can limit the life of our company to 50 years. And if we want, we can renew, but we cannot go beyond 150 years. So a limited life company is a company whose life cannot exceed 150. We can go to 50, we can go to 51, we can go to 63, but we cannot go beyond 150 years. This is a new creation under the New Companies Act. Okay, sawa. Now, we have mentioned partnerships and we have mentioned the companies. Can we identify differences between a company and a partnership? Very simple. Yes, we can. One, formation. When we form a company, we require specific long procedures at RDB, Office of Registrar General. We follow procedures. The memorandum of association, the articles of association, the list of directors. We must take up shares against our name. Procedure. Formation of a company. What about a partnership? A partnership, the Partnership Act does not prescribe any registration unless you want to register the partnership. For example, if it is a professional partnership like PwC, like Ernst & Young, then you have to register. Legal status. A company, yes, please.
Can you come back in a few about the protected cell? I want to understand where protect the cell company.
Okay, sawa. Now, protected cell, what we are saying is this. 1 minute. What we are saying about protected cell company is that, you see, if our company, Toyota Rwanda, it deals in the manufacturing of motor vehicles and selling them and spare parts, etc., etc. Now, the business of Toyota Rwanda, if they will owe Becca 100 billion, and then they are unable to pay Becca 100 billion, my friend, the company will close because the property will be sold. The property of our company, the property of Toyota Rwanda will be sold so that they get the debt. Due to this fear that we can start a business and then the business will have a debt, and then because of that debt, our business will close, it is possible then we can start a business, the core business, the main business, manufacturing motor vehicles. If this business will have a debt, then it will have to pay. If it cannot pay, it will close. But on the side, we can have another business. For example, a business for manufacturing tires, motor vehicle tires. And then we say the business of manufacturing motor vehicle tires is independent from the business of manufacturing motor vehicles. If the business of manufacturing motor vehicle tires is broke, it is bankrupt, if it owes, if it causes a problem to the pathologist, it is the one which is going to die on its own. Our core business of manufacturing motor vehicles will continue. So this small business on the side is now what we call the protected cell. Yes, the small business on the side is the protected cell. The business that if it suffers loss, it is its own loss, it will die its own death. The rest of the body continues. Look at this, the Companies Act. We are being given an explanation here. A cell created by a protected cell company for the purpose of segregating and protecting cellular assets in the manner provided by this law. In other words, that we create a company and the company has various businesses, some of which are so independent, from the others, that if they die, if they have a debt, that is their own problem. Our main business will continue. Look at this sub item 24. Protected cell company, a company in which a single legal entity consists of a core linked to several cells, each with separate assets and liabilities. So the assets and liabilities of that small business we have in where? In Nyamagabe. Those ones are for that business. Yes, some of us are shareholders in that small business. If that small business will have a debt, it owes Kojia 50 billion, it is that small business to pay. Nobody will come looking for money from our core business in Kachiru. Okay, Tulikumwe. Have we understood?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so,
Yes, sir.
so as we continue, we're going to understand these principles much better, slowly by slowly. So the other thing we continue to is this, the legal status. Legal status. A company is an artificial person. A company is a body corporate. A company is a body corporate. A company is an artificial person. But when we talk about a partnership is not. Number of members. When we look at the number of members, a private company has a maximum of 100. Please remember that. Private company, maximum 100. Public company has no maximum. Public company has no maximum. When it comes to partnerships, a partnership cannot have more than 20. A partnership, yes.
What is PVT?
PVT, private.
PVT.
Yes, PVT is the abbreviation for private company. And then PLC is the abbreviation for public company. We will even look at other definitions down here as we continue. We're just going to put them out. So PVT is a private company. PLC is a public limited company. Okay. And a public company must have the word limited at the end of it. But we're going to discuss it now. Private company, a partnership. A partnership cannot have more than 20 partners. A partnership cannot have more than 20 partners unless it is a professional partnership. A professional partnership can have a maximum of 50, like PwC, like Ernst & Young, maximum of 50. Banks, there are some banks which are partnerships. A bank cannot have more than 10 partners. So just remember those differences. That an ordinary partnership, 20. A banking partnership, 10. A professional partnership, 50. Remember that. Private company, maximum 100. Public company, no maximum. Okay. Transferability of shares. In a company, shares are freely transferable. They are transferable in the manner which has been agreed upon in the articles. In a partnership, a partner cannot transfer his interest to another person. If you are a partner with Mary and John and you transfer your interest to Michael, my friend, the partnership comes to an end. We have to start a new partnership because it is now a new formation. Just like if a partner dies, the partnership ends. We have to start a new partner. If a partner retires, the partnership ends. We have to start a new
hear your
partner.
voice.
Can somebody else hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Hey, so I think it is your machine. It's your machine.
Yes,
which
we
has a
hear.
problem. Yes,
Well,
Yes, you can hear you.
So transferability of shares is not allowed in a partnership. In a company, you can transfer shares as the articles have allowed. Management. In a company, members of a company have no right to participate in management. Yes, you know, members, shareholders, they have no right to participate in management. A company has its management, the director. Remember, you know the what? You know the formation, the organogram of a business. You have the top level, the middle level, the lower level. A company has its specific authorized managers. What is AOA? AOA is Articles of Association. We shall discuss that. AOA, Articles of Association. And then we are going to look at MOA, Memorandum of Association. Don't worry, we will get to that one. BOD is Board of Directors. We will also get to that one slowly by slowly. Then agency. Agency. When you look at a partnership is actually a form of agency. A partnership is a form of agency. Partners are agents of each other. While I was away, you did ABCD. You will bind me. But in a company, members are not agents of each other. In fact, in a company, we may not even know each other. Some of these companies are very big. Think of a company like Inyange. The members of Inyange, they may not even know each other. Some of them are in Chiangugu, others are in Nyagatare, others are in Chigali. They don't even know each other. A partnership, members or partners are agents of each other. Liability. A member is not personally liable for the debts of a company. Remember, versus Solomon. A member, a shareholder, is not personally liable for the company's debts because the company and the shareholder are distinct and separate. But when we talk about a partnership, every partner is liable jointly with the other partners because of the agency. Partners, they are joined together. So liability in a partnership, all partners are joined together. Liability in a company, the company's liability is different from the liability of members. The only time when a partnership will have this kind of a situation is if we have a limited partnership. A limited partnership. Okay. Powers. In a company, the doctrine of ultra vires applies. You remember what ultra vires is? Ultra vires means beyond the powers. We shall discuss it. Don't worry, we'll discuss it. In a company, ultra vires applies. If our company's business is to sell a matter, then the business is to sell a matter. If we start selling telephone and virai, my friend, what we are doing is ultra vires and it will not have any validity. In a partnership, ultra vires does not apply. A partnership, one advantage of partnership is you can start selling virai today, tomorrow you sell amata, next week you start selling shoes, the other week you open a school, you can do anything and everything in a partnership. It is free. You are not tied to any specific business unless it is a professional partnership. But in a company, my friend, a company, you will stick to the business you have specified in your memorandum of association. Okay. Termination. If a partner dies, if a partner becomes bankrupt, if a partner becomes insane, the partnership ends. In a company, we don't care. People will die, people will be bankrupt, people will be insane. The company continues because it has what? Perpetual succession. It's a going concern. However, if our company is a limited life company and we have specified that upon a particular event happening, then when that event happens, the company will come to an end. And then borrowing. What happens with borrowing? In a company can use its property. A company can use its property for purposes of borrowing. Okay? We can use our lorries, we can use our buses, we can use our building for purposes of borrowing. A partnership cannot use a floating charge. We will explain this floating charge. What we are saying here is this. For public companies, they do not have to give the actual assets to the lender so that they are given a loan. No. A floating charge, what happens to the floating charge? A floating charge, you simply prove to the lender that you are a going concern, you are duly registered. If the lender looks at your portfolio and sees that your balance sheet looks good, the lender will give you money without you giving any collateral. A public company. Private companies do not allow that. Private companies, you must give collateral. A partnership, it cannot work. A partnership, these guys must give actual security. They must take the modoka, they must take the lorry, they must take the inzu, whatever it is, they must give. Okay. Owning property. The property of the company belongs to the company, not the shareholders. Property of the company does not belong to the shareholders. Property of the company belongs to the company. The shareholder only has an
Recording in progress.
okay. So property of the company belongs to the company. It does not belong to the individuals. But property of the partnership belongs to the partners. That is a big difference. Okay? In a partnership, the property belongs to the partners. You cannot separate the property and the partners. They are the same. But in a company, company property is company property. An individual shareholder's property is an individual shareholder's property. Okay. Now, do you think we have any advantages of forming a company? Can you tell me, do you think we have advantages of forming a company? If we have money now, we've been given some money. Would you like us to form a partnership or would you like us to form a company? And why? I would prefer to form a company. Advantages of incorporation are actually the characteristics of incorporation. Advantages of incorporation are actually the characteristics of incorporation. In other words, when you look at limited liability, limited liability is an advantage. Limited liability is an advantage. Perpetual succession is another advantage because the company can be there for the unforeseeable future. We can ensure that our projects, what we want to achieve within a particular period in time, we are able to achieve it. So perpetual succession is an advantage. Capacity to enter contracts. We can enter contracts in the name of the company. We can do things in the name of the company. We can own property. We can go to court. If there is a case, we can take that person to court in the name of the company. So you find company has quite a number of advantages. Wide capital base. This one is very obvious. Very obvious. Wide capital base because the company has assets and the company can borrow. The company is able to harness a lot of finances. Okay. Next, transferability of shares. In a company, I can transfer my shares to my sister, to my brother, to whoever. I can sell my shares and walk out. So the element of transferability of shares is an advantage because we are then able to bring in new people with new ideas. We are then able to bring in people who have good money. They are able to do what? To finance the projects of the company. And because the company has money, we are able to get qualified, specialized management. Qualified, specialized management. If it was a partnership, it will only be how much do we have? If we are broke, too bad. We can only manage the cheap things. But a company with the capacity to borrow, the capacity to do all these things, the company can hire the best in the market. We can get the best accountants from Rwanda. And even beyond Rwanda, we can go to Belgium, we can go to Britain. But with the partnerships, sole proprietorships, you find this is limited. Then the idea of borrowing. Again, borrowing, especially for public companies. Borrowing by floating charge. Yes.
Come again with qualified. What is AGM?
AGM is annual general meeting.
Okay.
Don't worry about these abbreviations. As we continue, we are going to understand them. Slowly by slowly, as we continue, we're going to understand what all this. This is annual general meeting. It is also known as the General Assembly. Okay. Then, a public company does not have to give any of its assets so that it gets a loan from Becca or from Coget. As long as you prove you are a registered company and you are a going concern, and Coget looks at your portfolio, my friend, you get the money. Okay. Then there are disadvantages also. One of the disadvantages is formalities. Formalities. From the moment we are forming the company, right through into the management stage, right through into the dissolution stage, it is procedure, procedure, procedure. And if you fail any of those procedures, my friend, you have a problem with the registrar. So there are so many technical procedures concerning forming the company, managing the company, even winding up. Then publicity. Yes, publicity is good for marketing purposes, yes, for business purposes, if it is positive. But my friend, sometimes bad things may happen in our company. And it will have to be known because we must give returns to the registrar. The companies are in public scrutiny through the legal procedures. When we have the annual general meetings, everybody is watching, listening, what is happening in this company. So you find sometimes this publicity in companies is not the best. In a partnership, we are in a company, it is impossible to keep secrets. Corporation tax. Ceteris paribus, all things constant, the corporation tax in a company is much higher than the tax that shall be levied on any other business. Companies, the tax is relatively higher than the ordinary businesses, a partnership, a sole proprietor. Okay. Even though, yes, we are going to make a lot of profit, but that tax will eat into our reserves. Okay. Then non-participation in management. You know, sometimes it is very painful. Peter, Manzi, and Umuhoza formed Company Alpha 10 years ago. And then they decided to retire and go and sit in the village to drink their milk and milk their cows. So they are only shareholders now. They are simply shareholders. There is new management in this company, which they formed 10 years ago. Sometimes the people who actually formed the company, or even the shareholders themselves, they feel a lot of pain when they see the company being mismanaged by the professional managers who have been employed. If it was a partnership, in a partnership, the partners are handling their own business. But with the company, the guys who are in charge of Inyange, the guys who are in charge of Braridua, and so on and so forth, you may find they are not the original owners. They're just guys who've been employed. Like you and me, we can be employed and we go and work for these companies. So you may find the element of non-participation in management can be very negative. Outsiders end up influencing decisions and policies of the company. And then expenses. It is very expensive to run a company. It is very expensive. From the moment of incorporation, through the management stage, even through dissolution, it is very expensive. Okay? So please just remember, we have partnerships, we have companies, we have sole proprietors, and we have cooperative. What the examiner wants is to look at the difference between them and the advantages of the company, the disadvantages of the company. But when you do that, you are safe, you are good. Okay. Any question? Now, on Saturday, we talked about the veil of incorporation. And I said the veil is the net. The net. When the girl is getting married, she wears that nice dress and there's that small cloth which covers her face. That is the veil. That is the net. In law, we say when the company is formed, it is covered with that net, the corporate shell. You know what a shell is? You know what a shell is? In cocoa will give us an egg. The shell of the egg is not strong. The shell of the egg, if you hit it, it will break. Now, this idea of corporate shell or veil of incorporation, it is established in the rule in Solomon versus Solomon. In the case of Solomon versus Solomon, again and again, we are repeating the saying, when this Musaza, Solomon, formed the company, it became distinct and separate from its members. The company became distinct and separate from those people who had formed it. Okay? Now, once we form Company Alpha, so it is me, yourself, Mary, John, Peter, and Michael. We form Company Alpha. The office of the Registrar General will not look at me, will not look at you, will not look at Mary, will not look at Peter. Instead, the office of the registrar will look at Company Alpha. Okay? Because Mary, John, Peter, myself, and Jane, we are covered by that cloth, that legal cloth. He can only see Company Alpha. That is the veil of incorporation. Okay? However, this veil of incorporation, that net, that corporate shell, it will continue to cover us only if we are obeying the law. Only if we comply with the Companies Act. If for any reason we do not comply with the provisions of the Companies Act, the registrar will now say, these people are now playing around with the law. I want to find out who are the owners of this company, who are the management of this company. So he will come and he'll do what? He will lift the corporate shell. He will lift the veil of incorporation, lifting the veil. Okay? In other words, what you're saying is, the registrar looks at the company as a company only if the company is behaving. And he will not want to know who is John, who is Mary, who is Peter. He looks at Company Alpha. But if Company Alpha misbehaves, like we are going to see in a minute, if Company Alpha misbehaves, the registrar now looks at Company Alpha as if it is a sole proprietor, as if it is a partnership. He will now look inside. Forget about the company. I am looking at the who? I'm looking at the actual people who own this company. And you will be treated like you are a partnership. So, the examiner will ask you, yes, the rule in Solomon versus Solomon says that a company is distinct and separate from those who form it, and the law will not want to find out who are the people who have formed the company. However, there are exceptions. There are exceptions where the registrar will want to find out who have formed this company. If those people do what? Disobey the law. So the exceptions to the rule in Solomon versus Solomon, if the examiner asks you, what are the exceptions to the rule in Solomon versus Solomon? The exceptions to the rule in Solomon versus Solomon are those instances where the registrar disregards to look at the company as if it is a company. He now looks at the company like it is a partnership. He wants to find out who are inside this company. Example. Now, don't worry about lifting the under statute legislature. No. Let us just look at these points first of all. Don't worry whether it is a statute or common law. Now, examples. If the membership of the company has fallen below the statutory minimum, membership of the company has fallen below the statutory minimum, and you continue transacting as a company, For 6 months, the registrar will want to find out, who are these people? Who are these people? An example is a member of a company has died, but there is no transferee. We have not transferred shares to the next of kin. Nobody has been appointed to take over the shares of the one who has died. And the registrar finds out, my friend, there will be lifting of the corporate shell. Number 2, we are going to understand that the name of the company must be published on the registered office, must be published in the official documents of the company, whether it is invoices, whether it is vouchers, receipts, checks. If you have not published your name at your registered office, you have not published your name on your checkbooks, on your invoices, on your vouchers, my friend, the registrar will want to find out, who are the people behind this company? Why are they hiding? You know, if you hide, there is something bad you are doing. The registrar will want to find out, who are these people? So he removes the corporate veil, and he now looks at the company as if the company is a partnership. Number 3.
Please.
Yes.
Those are exceptional Solomon case.
Yes, exactly. Exceptions.
Those are 3.
Solomon, there are many. We are still continuing. With Solomon's case, we are saying when the company is formed, it is distinct and separate from the ones who form it. We don't want to know who has formed the company. What we are seeing is the company. You know, I have no business in finding out who the owners of Inyange are. All I want is I go, I buy Amata, I buy juice. I'm happy with Inyange. But if Inyange will misbehave, now the registrar will want to find out who are the owners of Inyange. So the registrar removes what? The corporate shell, the veil of incorporation. He does not look at Inyange as a company. He now looks at Inyange as if it is a partnership. And the examples of these exceptions, the examples of instances where the registrar will remove the veil of incorporation are membership falling below statutory minimum, a company is not publishing its name on its website, on its registered office, in the invoices, on the checkbooks. Number 3, group accounts. You guys, you are accountants. You know very well. If you have a holding company, and it has subsidiaries, you are told in accounting that you must have group accounts. You must align the financial year of the holding company and that of its subsidiaries, so that we have an accurate reporting of the affairs of the company. The holding company, this is the position. The subsidiary A, this subsidiary B, this subsidiary C, that. If you do not align those financial statements of the holding and the subsidiaries, my friend, the registrar notices, he'll want to find out, who are these people? What do they want to commercial? Why don't they want to disclose the financials of the subsidiaries? But later on, when we shall be looking at company accounts, audit and inspection, we shall find the exceptions. At your free time, you can look at the exceptions. These exceptions here, you can look at them. But for now, don't worry about those exceptions. Important thing is, if you have a holding company and its subsidiaries, you must align the financial year of both. Next, investigation of companies' affairs. Article 293 of the Companies Act tells us that where the registrar has suspicion about the company, what this company is doing is not correct, then the registrar has the right to appoint an inspector to find out what is happening in that company. Maybe we have been told the company is dealing in illegal substances, the company is committing fraud, anything that the company is doing which is suspicious. The registrar will get an inspector to find out what is happening. Investigating the company's membership. Who are the members of the company? Fraudulent trading. The company is a Kubeshia on the Batulaje. The registrar will want to find out. The exceptions are very many. Do not worry, again, I repeat, do not worry that we are grouping under case law and then the other one is under what? Under parliament, under statute. Don't worry. Don't worry about this. Simply understand lifting the veil of incorporation. Don't worry about case law or common law. Don't worry about that. So other examples include agency, trustee, or nominee. If the company is committing fraud, the registrar will want to find out what is happening with this company. Who are the people behind this company? Group enterprises. You see, the same thing like we have mentioned up there, the holding company and its subsidiaries, that the company and its subsidiaries are regarded as one unit. The company and its subsidiaries are regarded as one unit. Therefore, if the company is transacting in business in an illegal manner, the registrar may want to find out what are these subsidiaries, where are they, and who are in charge of them. Okay. Determination of residence. You see, where is the residence of a company? The residence of a company is the place or the country where the affairs of the company are controlled, where the decisions are made from. That is going to be the residence of the company. So we can have our company, it is registered in Rwanda, but decisions are usually made in Belgium. That is the residence of the company. Where the directors are always meeting and making decisions, that is the residence of the company. Ratification of corporate acts. What is ratification? To ratify is to give authority to something which has already been done. We did not have the authority to drive the motorcar from Kigali to Musanze, but we decided to drive the car. Then, tomorrow, we tell the manager, you know what? Yesterday, we did something wrong without authority. Please forgive us. And the manager says, Sawa, that is ratification. So ratification is giving authority after something has already been done without authority. Okay? And also included fraud. We have already mentioned fraud there, misbehavior, determination of character, etc. Okay, so what I advise is this. At your free time, go back to this area, lifting the veil of incorporation. Do not worry about the difference of this first part or the second part. What you need is simply look at the specific 1, 2, 3, 4, those ones. Don't try to distinguish between lifting under legislature or lifting under common law. Those ones, the examiner has no business with. Simply look at this agency, group enterprise, etc., etc., and you shall be fine. So remember this. The rule in Solomon versus Solomon says what? The rule in Solomon versus Solomon says when a company is incorporated, it becomes distinct and separate from the people who formed it. And because the company has been incorporated, the registrar will not want to find out who are the people inside the company. So the rule in Solomon versus Solomon protects the people inside the company. However, there are exceptions. There are exceptions where the registrar will want to find out who are inside this company. There are exceptions where the registrar will now say, this is not a company now. This one is just like a partnership. That is now the exceptions to the rule in Solomon versus Solomon. Okay? The exceptions, the rule in Solomon versus Solomon. The circumstances where the rule in Solomon's case is ignored, modified, or qualified are collectively referred to as lifting the veil of incorporation or piercing the corporate shell. They are exceptions to the rule in Solomon's case. They are exceptions to the fact that when a company is formed, it is different from those who form it. In such a case now, we are looking at the company like it is a partnership. Those who have formed the company and the company, they are just the same. We want to find out who are the people inside this company. Why is the company not publishing its name? Why is the company not giving us an aligned statement of the financial reports of the holding company and the subsidiaries? Why is the company membership, why has it fallen below the statutory minimum? We want to find out, this company has been committing fraud. Who are the people inside? So if the company commits an offense, we want to find out who the people are. If it is doing well, then we do not bother. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the position. Any question? We have about 10 minutes. If you have any question, you can ask. I will clarify. I am never tired. I am never tired to go back again and again. That is my job. So you want me to start from the beginning, identify a few items, I will still do that. That is the job that I'm supposed to do. So if you have any area that is not clear, let me know. Just remember this. The examiner will not bother to ask you to give details about a partnership or details about cooperative. No. All that the examiner wants is you to distinguish between a partnership and a company. Bas. And to look at the advantages and disadvantages of a company. Bas. And then that we have the sole proprietors, we have the partnerships, we have the cooperative. They are simply for comparison purposes. Otherwise, our business is company law. Bas. Then look at the principle of legal or corporate personality. What is this? You look at the characteristics of a company. Distinct legal personality, limited liability, perpetual succession, common seal, capacity to own. Characteristics are also referred to as what? Features. The examiner will tell you, characteristics, features, or consequences. Exactly. Okay? Characteristics, features, or consequences, they are the same. They are these ones here. These are the characteristics, the features, the consequences. And these characteristics, the features, the consequences, they are showing us that the company is distinct and separate from the people who form it. However, there are exceptions if we are going to break the law as a company. There are exceptions which we have mentioned. That is what? Lifting the veil of incorporation. The veil of incorporation. In Solomon's case, it was established that a company is a legal person separate and distinct from its members and managers. It has an independent legal existence. However, if the company misbehaves, then we say we are going to have what? Exceptions. If the company misbehaves, we will no longer look at the company as a company. We will now look at inside and find out who are these. So we're going to lift, we're going to remove the veil and look at the people inside that company. Okay, that is the position. So
please lecture.
Yes, please.
Can you explain more under status and under case law?
I've just said that don't worry about these differences. There is no, actually, what you should understand is simply lifting the veil. Now, these others are simply emphasizing, but don't worry. What we're saying here is under statute, it means the written law itself. The written law itself. Under case law, we are looking at cases which have been decided before. Cases which have been decided before, and there was lifting of the veil. Otherwise, the points are the same. Don't worry about it. That if we look at cases which have been handled in court, example, this one, Bamford versus Bamford. You can do away with this. You can do away with this, that statement there. You can do away with that. You can also do away with this other statement up here. Do away with this other statement up here. Simply understand lifting the veil. Bas. Out of this first part, there are about 5. There are 6. In the second part, there are another 6. Pick any 5 that you'll remember and you are safe. You'll be fine. And if you look at them, actually, some of them are just the same. Like when we talk about group accounts here, we talk about group accounts here. And then when we come to this other one, we are talking about a group enterprise. Yeah. So they are just about the same. All you need is just pick at least 5. You are safe. Fraudulent trading. We are talking about fraudulent trading here. Fraud. Yes. Then we are talking about fraud here again. So it does not matter whether it is A or B. Just look at any 5 simple examples and you are safe. You'll be fine. Yes, any other question? So we are done with chapter 1. We're done with chapter 1. And what we shall do is in the next session, we shall pick some 1 or 2 questions on chapter 1. And then we go to chapter 2, pick another 1 or 2 questions like that. So it is as simple as that. Our first day to start our discussions, we have finished 1 chapter, and that is something very positive. It is quite encouraging. We can see we now have 13 chapters remaining, which we are going to finish. There's no problem. So we meet next week on Tuesday, because this coming, I don't think we are meeting this coming weekend. This coming weekend, I will be meeting Musanze. So we are meeting on a Tuesday. Every Tuesday we have a class.
Okay.
And then we'll meet the next weekend. Okay. So those who have notes, those who don't have notes, share among yourselves. You know, if you wait for me to send you the notes, sometimes I can be very busy, sometimes I may forget. So if you don't have any notes, if you don't have any document, just share among yourselves, and we move on. We move on very smoothly. And the link is the same. That link is the same link. I don't know why some people are having a problem with getting to connect to that link. The link is the same. Next time we'll still use the same link. It becomes easier so that you don't forget. Okay, so the class is ended. Let us meet on Tuesday next week.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.